Hi, friend. I'm so excited, so excited to share an interview with you today with the fabulous Sheridan Teague. If you don't know her, I want you to immediately jump on social media and find her after this interview. She is just wonderful. We became friends several years ago, and I have such a pleasure of calling her my friend. I've learned so much from her, and I'm excited to talk to her about her yoga teacher journey and how she markets herself as a yoga teacher. So Sheridan, tell us a little bit about you and how you became a yoga teacher.
Well, thank you, Amanda, for having me. I'm so excited to be here, being able to share kind of my journey and like where I kind of started yoga from. So first off, my name is Sheridan, and I am 25 years old. I have been teaching yoga since 2014 when I became a registered yoga teacher. I graduated high school and I jumped right into TCC. So from there I was like, everybody kind of has their own path that they're wanting to take. Mm-hmm. Everybody kind of knew where they wanted to go. And I was like, I had no clue. Wasn't really enjoying school that much. Like, I think it was just the setting and just going to classes, like, the typical thing that you do after you get out of high school. And then my sister-in-law took me to my first yoga class. My first yoga class. And to be very honest, I did not connect right away. I was like, this is kind of different. Didn't really like it that much. And, it took me going back a few more times to realize that I really began to really love it. And I think that also comes in with different, instructors. You connect differently with people. Mm-hmm. And I just went to a class that I loved, fell in love with, kept going back. Oh. And after that, I left the class saying, how can I not share this with other people? Like, for the first time, I just felt super connected with myself, and I felt confident. I felt like this was it. Like, this is what I need to be doing ASAP. So from there, I jumped right onto getting my 200-hour certification. Mm-hmm. Immediately after that, started teaching at different locations and let that be my full-time job. I quit my job and just became a yoga teacher. So, I think I just slowly grew with my yoga practice, and doing a 200-hour training also helped me grow in myself. I realized that this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, and I've loved it so far.
Well, you're really good at it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Speaking for all of your students, myself being one of them, you're such a great teacher, and the passion that you have for yoga really does come through in your classes, and so you inspire the rest of us to want to share yoga with others. So thank you for following that calling. Let's talk about, so you went to yoga teacher training, mm-hmm. You said yes to everything, and I talk about that a lot with a lot of my students, that you've got to say yes to everything to figure out what you like and what you don't like. And what I just adore about your story is how much I've been able to see you say yes to a lot of things and then slowly narrow down to what your true calling is and what really lights you up, which is what narrowing and niching down is all about. It's just finding what lights you up. And so if you could just talk a little bit about that journey of how you figured that out and that transition of teaching at a whole bunch of places down to now you've really narrowed it down to just a few.
For sure. Okay, so I think just saying yes in general is very nerve-wracking. I remember being so nervous to be in front of people, to talk. And like I told you, I never thought my job would be public speaking. I think being able to say yes has opened up all these different doors for me. And so I remember my first time saying yes to teaching like a workshop. I was so nervous. I was like, I'm going to mess up. It's going to be so long. Like, I'm not going to say the right thing because I'm going to stutter. And I just ended up saying yes. I was like, I'll just do it. And then different opportunities opened up. I said yes to those. I realized the more that you can say yes, the more it's going to help you grow. And there's a song I've been listening to recently, and it's by Stephanie Gretzinger. Mm-hmm. And it's called No Fear in Love. Mm-hmm. And my passion is yoga. I love yoga. There does come fear, but with saying yes, like, you are spreading your love of a practice. You are stepping into shoes where you have the platform to show people what you love and hope and pray that they walk away feeling the exact same way that you felt during your first yoga class. So that is really what pushed me to say yes more often. And then from there, I started teaching at a few different studios that At that point, I was working at like 7 different studios. I was kind of all over the place. Right. It was really chaotic and a little bit hectic, and you have to you have this schedule that you have to abide by. And I did feel a lot of energy being sucked out at that time, you know, just giving to all these different places. And I think I really started realizing the places that I wanted to be at the most then. And then there is where it comes in to narrowing it down and being able to let opportunities go so that you can grow, and then you open up spots for other people.
Oh, that's a great way of looking at it.
Yeah, one of my really great friends, Kristen Campbell, she's amazing. She kind of taught me that, to be able to narrow down to where you feel like you need to be to open up spots for other people and opportunities for other people to say yes. And so being able to narrow down where I wanted to be, where I wanted to channel my energy into, has really helped me, skim down my schedule to certain places, and then from there teaching what I love to people that I can feel like I can inspire. And that's also where, I found out that I love arm balancing and wanting to teach arm balancing to everyone. And it is a nerve-wracking thing.
Yes.
It is. And I think that was kind of my niche. I realized that I loved it. I wanted to share arm balances with everybody, even people that were like, I will never do crow. There's just no way. It's meeting your students at the spot that they are at, and making them feel comfortable in the moment with helping them take a little step outside their comfort zone to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to push forward, I'm going to lean forward, I'm going to go into crow, and I feel safe doing this. So that's just what I want everybody to feel comfortable doing.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
I love that you were able to identify what you love doing, because I talk about that so often with people. If you can identify what you love doing, if you can teach the class that you would love to take, then you're going to be fantastic at it, because the passion just naturally comes through.
Yeah.
If someone came to you and said, Sheridan, we need you to teach this class, of course you could teach that class, but it might not have the same Sheridan passion that an arm balance workshop would.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. And I think just being super authentic with that. And, yoga in general is my passion, but being able to share stuff, that playfulness, the childlike arm balancing, and being able to laugh. I think being able to laugh in yoga class is much needed. A lot of people go in thinking that, straight face.
Yes,
straight face
super
on.
serious.
I'm not gonna I'm just gonna connect with my breath. I think being able to step outside that zone and tap into your child play and inner kid it helps you leave the class feeling a little bit more relaxed. Laughter is the best medicine.
It really is.
So true.
It really is.
It's so true. I think being able to watch adults laugh and laugh at themselves.
Yes.
Man, I totally face planted. We've all been there, dude.
Yes, we have.
Yeah. I mean, I've been the dust a few times. Just being able to incorporate all of that childlike play. I realize that's what I love. I like to see people laugh. I like to see people try new things, and I love seeing when somebody nails it.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
That's great. That moment is so inspiring as a teacher, I'm certain, and you get to witness this moment and the look on people's faces when they actually do nail the crow or the headstand or the handstand that you have to work so hard to get.
Oh, for sure. And my students teach me just as much as I teach them. I think that's why I love the job so much, is because I've got to meet so many cool people. I've met so many cool people. It's such a blessing, I feel like. Yeah. These students are not just my students, they're now my friends. And it's cool because we connect and we stay connected. And I love to spend time getting to know my students, before and after class, just talking. What are you doing this weekend? Tell me about what's going on. And I feel like it makes things more personal when you begin to teach. You can talk about what's going on in your personal life, but being able to say, the hardships and people who is going through hardships, and being able to speak to these people, off your yoga mat too.
Oh yeah.
And just kind of help them through what's going on and being genuine. I think that's one of the biggest things I've learned as a yoga instructor, is just be genuine with people, transparent. And so, sometimes people think, oh, well, yoga instructors, they don't have a lot going on. They're just, they're kind of to the book. And I think that being super authentic and transparent and, just super open helps them relate to you a little bit more. It kind of keeps them coming back to, which I love to have them come back and see them and see their growth in their practice.
Exactly. Exactly. And I love you just, my marketing heart just gets so excited when I am talking with people like you that are doing all the things that I encourage people to do, because that is marketing for yoga. And it's what you do after class. You talk to your students. The more that you can talk to your students, like you said, they start coming back, and those become the dream student for that class.
Yes.
And we all know that yoga is for everyone. Absolutely. There's not one person that yoga is not for. But each of us as a yoga teacher, you can't teach everyone. That's impossible.
For sure.
And so if you are able to identify who your ideal, your dream student is, then you get to talk to them and have fun, and they fill your classes.
Yes.
And so for you, you've gone in, taught the class, and you resonate with people, and then those people consistently come back and invite other people.
Yes.
I'm certain you've had that experience.
I have. And there's some students that, they just make my world so much better.
Oh.
Like my external life, like, being able to be transparent with me and then building a friendship, and, you just love these people. I remember one student that I've had, her name is Jamie. She's amazing. She used to come to all my classes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, she's phenomenal. And, we just really connected, and she told me that I really helped her through a lot. And I think little did she know she was helping me through a lot too. And I think just being able to build friendships. I am such a friendship type of person.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I need friendship to make my world happier.
Yeah.
I've always been like that. Being surrounded with people that help uplift you in a really awesome way is life changing.
Well, you do that for so many people, not just Jamie, but so many other people.
Thank you.
And in that, so you have narrowed down to working with a few core groups. And I think that is something that you have done really, really well, and that I would love for you to talk about a little bit. And because there's so many yoga teachers who watch my blog, who learn from me, that are at the place where you are feeling that I'm a little scattered, I'm a little overwhelmed, I'm working at so many places, I'm ready to really focus in. Talk to me about, and you can talk a little bit about Christians Do Yoga and what that became like. How did that door open? Because you are so good about saying yes. How did that door open, and you really were able to really narrow down on, okay, I can do more of this to open the door for someone else to do the other things.
Right. So I work at Lululemon. I love it here. And one day, Kristen Campbell walked in. Well, actually, let me start with my Instagram. My Instagram is kind of a devotional base. Mm-hmm. So I post a picture, and I use this app called Jesus Calling by Sheridan. It's amazing. And I just kind of post like what she has to say, for January, 27th or something, in the dates. And it has like this full, kind of list or this like paragraph about how God is working in our lives, like with some scriptures. Mm-hmm. And so I would just copy and paste it and put it on my Instagram, hoping somebody would read that and be able to be like, wow, that's exactly what I needed to hear today. Mm-hmm. So Kristen Campbell came into Lululemon. She has been in a few times, and she asked me, she was like, so do you ever teach holy yoga? And I have been to a few holy yoga classes, which, by the way, are just life-changing. Mm-hmm. And, I told her, I sub every once in a while. I'm not really, don't have a certain class in the schedule that's based around holy yoga. Mm-hmm. And she asked me if I would be willing to come in and film a few yoga flows that were based around scripture for Christians Do Yoga. She and her and Nick started this company, and they asked me to come in and film me recording a few yoga flows, and then asked me to come back to record more.
That's awesome.
Yes, and I love it. It's it's being around people that are there for you, having a community that's like, what can we do to pray for you, and I just wanted to draw more energy into that. I loved it. I felt like I could reach a whole nother crowd. Mm-hmm. We have a few YouTube videos out, and people all over the world are watching them.
That's so neat.
And so I'm not even just in this little space. Mm-hmm. I'm over in Australia and Ireland and all these different places, and I just think that that's the way to share the word and to share yoga too. Mm-hmm. I also think that being able to worship through movement is very, it's just another form of worship. worship. I'm not a singer. I cannot sing. I just can't sing to save my life. And so being able to find holy yoga to where I can move and worship to Christian music and incorporate scripture has just, that I realized that's another niche that I loved. So being able to draw that passion in and to focus more of my energy on that, because I knew I was reaching more people, I felt like I just had to jump on it and say yes to whatever they had to offer. I mean, whether it just be more videos or me doing a workshop, like anything that they had to offer, I wanted to say yes to immediately. So therefore, I did have to leave a few of my other jobs to be able to spend more of my energy, doing more for that. And I love it. Ever since the day I started, I loved it. And then I think being able to realize classes that I really wanted to keep on my schedule, classes that the energy was just high. I could connect with a lot of students. I just felt like those were ones I really wanted to incorporate still in my yoga schedule. And then I also now teach at John Christianer, and that in itself is amazing. To teach corporate yoga is beyond whatever I could expect. I mean, they have given me such an awesome opportunity. Kristen Campbell, that girl, she's amazing. She kind of introduced me to that, and I said yes to it and have not looked back. And I love it. It's also very stable too. And I just feel like they have given me a lot of opportunities to grow myself and to help their employees, since it is a benefit for them to grow in their own practice. They're sitting at desks all the time, I just feel like being able to move, and they have a full little workout space to be able to go in and work out. I just feel like that is amazing what they are doing for their employees.
That is amazing. And there's a lot of corporations that will do that and are open to that idea. And I often talk to yoga teachers about that exact thing, that if there is any type of a passion for helping people that are sitting at a desk all day, that just need to move in the middle of the day or into the day or beginning of the day, whatever it is, that there's often wellness programs built into corporations that are already, the money is already there. So, and I love what you said about it being stable. That's something, as a yoga teacher, I talk to so many that are working here, there, and everywhere just to make financial ends meet, which just breaks my heart. And we're not going to change the world in a day and all of a sudden, yoga teachers are making a ton of money. But I think you can make strategic moves like you have, where you have some stability with a corporate or with some sort of organization that's a little more stable, whether it's a studio job that it is very consistent classes, whatever the case may be. You can find that and then play with the other times on your schedule.
For sure.
And see what you like. And consistently, I have heard you say, and I love that you have said it, is that it's saying yes, and it was really connecting. Specifically for you, it was one person that introduced those two things, Christians do yoga and your corporate gig, and it was a person. So to me, that's networking. That's finding the people who align with your niche, and you can just take that home. Because, I mean, there is nothing like word of mouth, nothing like it. And so networking is just one of those ways. And my next question to you is going to be, how do you get people into your classes? So I would love to hear what you have to say about getting people into the classes and kind of how that weaves into your whole story.
Well, sometimes, so getting people into yoga can be very difficult.
Yes.
It's very intimidating. Like that first class that you take, it's, you're like, am I doing the poses right? Like, who's around me? Like, it's very nervous to even just go to a class, roll on your mat, and get started. So how I market myself is, I work at Lululemon. I have an opportunity to touch base with people that are either already in the yoga community or they are very new to yoga. They come in, they're looking for some workout gear, and I'm able to just talk to people. So say that you're a guest and you are new to yoga, you're like, well, I'm here to pick out a yoga mat. I'm going to start yoga. It's going to be my first class. And being able to say, well, I teach yoga, and I love that you're starting. I ask them kind of, where they're wanting to go and what kind of field they're wanting, because different studios offer different vibes or feels.
Right.
And I think whenever people are new, they just need something very, to the books, very basic, nothing too overwhelming. And then from there, I can either, guide them to my online class if they want to stay in-house. Like if they want to roll out their mat in their house, they can roll out their mat. I'm on YouTube, so So they can just roll out their mat and play my soft flow. That way they can also get a foundation built, and they can kind of build up their confidence more than to go to a yoga studio. Right. And then I'm able to tell them where I teach and kind of point them to my Instagram. And then you totally build up a friendship there too. They come back. I have a lot of guests that come back asking for me, and I just help them out. And we talk about yoga. We talk about where they're practicing now, and kind of how they're doing. And I think that is amazing too.
That's great.
So that's kind of how I narrowed down to get people into my class. I mean, also my family members. Like I try to get my family into yoga, like as much as I possibly can. My family, my friends. I love seeing like some of my friends that I went to high school with, like in my yoga classes. It's really interesting, and so I think being able to see them in that environment too, I mean, I absolutely love. It's so cool to see your friends that have never done yoga before. They're in the back row. They're watching you teach. You know, it's a really cool feeling. And then just Instagram, and just as much as I can, you know, post my schedule so that people can come to class. I notice sometimes, you know, social media, I either feel really drawn to post, or really drawn to just like take a step back and to maybe do word of mouth for a little bit, maybe post on my story a little bit where I'm teaching. I realize social media does take a lot of energy out of me. Sometimes it makes me not 100% in the present moment. And so I think being able to take a step back every once in a while and just do word of mouth for a while is kind of how I flow. Yeah. I mean, I like to be able to use my energy where I feel like it's needed to be.
That's great. As someone who's such a planner and, you know, on the marketing side of things, sometimes my brain goes to have a schedule, stick to that schedule. But the more and more that I have taught yoga teachers in particular, not a corporation, you know, going from it's two different worlds, right? And thinking, following that energy is really where it's at. And I think it's great to have an idea of, okay, I'm going to post 2 times a week or 3 times a week or whatever it is, and try for it if it feels right. But there is something to feeling that energy and saying, okay, I need to take a step back. And I love what you said about maybe just post the stories a little bit. I have found that with Instagram, it is so interesting how maybe you don't want to post, but you will share a story or something. And it is almost like a break because there's less pressure on stories because it's only 24 hours. It goes away. You can have a little bit more fun with it. So I like that you're doing that.
Thank you. I also feel like sometimes sometimes you just don't have a lot of content to post. You know, sometimes it's hard to come up with content. Like you have to set up your camera. You have to take a picture of yourself in a yoga pose. You have 5 seconds, or take a video to get a snapshot to upload that picture to Instagram. I think it's being able to section out time to take pictures of yourself, or if you're lucky enough, you do have people to take pictures of you with a good camera to then upload, and then therefore, you know, maybe you'll get more followers that are wanting to come more to your class, or they're just interested in what you have to say, you know, kind of what's going on in your life. But in my case, you know, it's my devotional that I post. So, I mean, getting more followers that way, be able to share more of God's word, I feel like whatever it takes. I mean, to get the word out there.
Right. And what you have done is, you know, you're talking about content in both photos as well as words, and you hit on 2 things that I just appreciate so much from the marketing side is number 1, thinking ahead and thinking I need pictures. And the idea, I do this often. I have a friend that she owns a totally separate business, but we go together to places around town and take pictures of each other because we both need pictures of ourselves for social media. And so we just put it on the schedule and we have a ton of fun doing it because maybe we'll have coffee, maybe we'll have a cocktail, whatever it is, and we'll take pictures of each other, and then we have content in the video or picture form for a good month or 2.
Backstock.
Yes, and it's wonderful. And then the other part was the content on the word side. It's so much easier to share once you have a narrowed focus. So for you, things probably got a lot easier on Instagram when you knew, okay, I'm going to post this devotional and then some pictures of myself. And you kind of have that rhythm. You didn't have to think, what should I talk about today on Instagram or Facebook? That is where it hits, and so many yoga teachers just aren't sure what to post. And it really is, as soon as you are able to narrow a focus down, it's so much easier to talk about it. Would you agree?
It's so much easier. It's so much teacher because I remember sitting there and being like, well, today I ate for breakfast.
Right.
Had 3 cups of coffee. You know, like it is so much, and you feel it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you want to share.
Yeah.
I used to, whenever I first started my Instagram, it was a lot of arm balancing and breaking down the arm balancing posts, like in my caption.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of switched over to talking about maybe stuff that's going on in my life or changes that are happening in my life. And then I remember posting my first like devotional.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. I loved the way it made me feel. I just felt like it was right to be able to share, a day and then a devotional, even with incorporating scripture.
Right.
Some people aren't like need just a little bit of guidance towards that. Sometimes it's hard to wake up in the morning and open up an app or open. A lot of people wake up in the morning. The first thing that they open up is Instagram or Facebook, and being able to have that right at their fingertips, like a devotional, is what I wanted people to see, and be able to see like, okay, like this is gonna be a full devotional. I get my little bit of worship in, and then they can keep scrolling if they want, or
That's
they can
great.
click on my profile and go to different devotionals. So
That's great.
thanks.
I love it because you said it felt right, and I just kept going with that. And that's when you know you've narrowed down and you found the thing you're passionate about, which you have done so well.
Thank you.
I love it so much. So tell everyone here where they can find you, and if you have any last marketing tips or just tips for yoga teachers in general, because you're doing so well. I want to make sure they know where to find you, and so they can follow you as well.
Thank you for saying that. Well, you can find me on YouTube. If you type in Christians Do Yoga at the search, you'll just find a few videos that are free content for you guys to use. Maybe they're an hour-long video or a 45-minute flow. We even have target area flows too.
Oh, great.
So you're more than welcome to hop on there and do any of our classes. Find me on Instagram at the Oki Yogi. Feel free to follow me, and you can read all my devotionals as well. And I mean, I guess the only real marketing advice that I would give to yoga instructors is just to be authentic and to teach what you love and what you kind of feel. You feel it inside of you when you're teaching from your heart and what you love. And the passion just kind of flows out. Like you're like, okay, I love this, and hopefully my students love it too. And they feel it. They know when it's authentic. They know when it's real. And I think that's just going to be my number one advice, is just do what you love and make it your life's work.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
I have nothing else to add to that. I will have all of the links just below in the text, and so you can go follow Sheridan and follow her journey, learn from her. She's doing it in a great way. And until next time, see you later.
Do you do outtakes at all on your videos?
I should, because I have so many.
I mean, it's just kind of funny.
It
and I
is.
like being able to see banter.
I know. Yeah, it
Like
is
a
really
banter
good.
kind of
So this
person.
will be perfect. I'll do some on the end of ours.
Okay.
I haven't done it
Sponsored
yet.
by Foolish Things.
Sponsored by Foolish Things.
Second
Bar and
to
biscuit.
third cup of coffee.
Yes. And Lululemon.
And
But I will let herself intro. Ooh, I did not like that. Let me start
I will
over.
let
Let herself.
intro.
Okay. We'll try that again.
3, 2.
Yes. You are awesome. Just
You are
awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Oh my
friend.
gosh. I'm
So-
over here blushing.
Aw. So sweet. See, she's so great. She's so great. So
And the passion, can't say the word passion, guys. 2 cups of coffee.
Yes. Awesome.
We're so cool. Look at us.
Yes.
With our coffee,
Mm-hmm.
our small talk,
Yes.
our long talk.
I know. It was so fun. Let's see. Success.